Hey everyone, so today I'm going to do a little bit of a stories time since we're in quarantine and we're all bored at home. I'm going to be using the 420 palette. I've used it in my last few videos, so go check that out. And I also have a little bit of a drink with us since we're going to be talking about my worst date ever. Okay, so I'm going to get into the color Shotgun. Okay, so this happened a few years ago. It happened when I was still at college at Davis. And so basically what happened was I was at one of the bars with one of my friends one of the nights at Davis, and we were just hanging out, and this guy approached us, and my friend knew the guy because he was a bouncer at one of the other local bars. And so he kind of starts hitting on me, and he kind of has like, you know, he's showing that he's interested in me. And so we kind of dance, but we just dance like front to front, like, you know, like a little like cutesy dance. And that was about it. He got my number and we were kind of texting back and forth that week. And so the next week he invited me to go on a date to this like kava bar or whatever. So I was like, okay, cool. So later that night, it was like, we used to kind of have these like theme nights. So that night was funk night, so it was kind of like 70s night. So later that night when we went, like when we'd go to the bar, it would be like 70s night, so just keep that in mind. So during the day, he like invites me to go to the kava bar and then to go get something to eat. I'm not really into kava, and if you guys don't know what kava is, it's like this root and it's supposed to make you feel like more relaxed, I think. I really don't know. It's like you drink it and it tastes really gross, but it's supposed to make you feel like relaxed. It's supposed to have like healing properties and stuff. So we went, and I show up, and the very first thing that I notice is that like his friends are all there. Like, and keep in mind, like none of his friends went to Davis, so it was kind of weird that his friends were there. Like they were all from like the next city over, and so it was kind of weird that they were there, but he basically told his friends about the date and they were all there. So that was hella awkward, you guys. I was like, and it wouldn't have been awkward if he would have just been open and honest and been like, oh, I'm gonna invite some of my friends, like, you know, or something. Like, I don't know, it was really weird. So that was like my first red flag with him. I forgot to mention what he looked like, and this is kind of relevant to the story later on. So he was white. I just want to keep that in mind. It does matter later on. And he was a ginger. He had like curly hair. He wasn't usually my type, but he seemed really nice the first time I met him, and he seemed really cool over text. So we get to the kava bar. All his friends are there. It's really awkward. I feel uncomfortable. And then it was also weird too because like this lady was there. Like it was like an older lady, but it was also one of his like friends, and she was like kind of like doing a rehab for bats, like bats that were having trouble flying, like the animal bats that were having trouble flying. So she had a bat at the kava bar, which honestly the bat was super cute, but I don't know why she brought it with her. So that was like another weird side note. Then he proceeds to tell me, kind of just in conversation casually, that his parents were racist. So I was like, this is not something you mention. This is not something you bring up. This is not something you mention on a first date. And then like, why are you even telling me this? Why are you even going on a date from his mom? So his mom starts to FaceTime him, and instead of like ignoring the call, and this was, like I said, right after I found out that his parents were racist, instead of him ignoring the call like a normal person, or instead of him, you know, texting his mom and being like, I'll call you back, he answers the call, and it's his mom and his sister on the line, and they know that he went on this date with me, and they asked, they're like, oh, how's the date? And then he's like, oh, I'm still on it. And then instead of, you know, hanging up or doing anything, he not only says that he's still on the date, he flips the camera and shows me, and I'm just awkwardly there like, I've known you for literally 15 minutes. Like, we've been on this date, and you're already showing me your parents. You just told me that your mom's racist, and then you showed me on FaceTime with them. So it was really awkward because I was like, what is going on? Like, I've never had this type of situation happen. So after we got off of FaceTime with her, it was just real awkward, and I was like, I didn't really know what to do because I just felt so uncomfortable, and I was really just mad that he would put me in that uncomfortable situation after he had just told me that information. And yeah, so that was real awkward. So you guys are probably like, Imani, this date does not get worse. It does, you guys. This date, it's so crazy because this date is the longest date I've ever been on, and it was also the worst date I've ever been on. So that was the kava bar part. At this bar, we go to the bar to go get food, and I'm confused because I'm like, I didn't even know the bar had food. Like, I didn't, like, it wasn't like a restaurant bar type situation from what I thought. So I didn't know they had food, but I guess they had pizza, so we went to go get pizza. So we go to the bar to go get pizza or whatever, and it's just kind of weird because, like, the whole time we're there, it's just like an awkward vibe. Like, so he's just like, I feel like it's weird because he's almost like flirting with his like employees, and it was just weird too because the whole date, like, he knew everyone. Like, it was just like he was trying to prove something or prove that he knew a lot of people. It was just weird because I'm like, why would you invite all your friends to this date and then go eat at your place of work and you know everyone for this date, and like, it's not like you work at a restaurant. So to me, the whole situation was really strange. And then he basically brings up another point of topic that I don't think you should ever bring up during a first date, is religion. So he brought up religion, and he was very straight up with what he believed, and it was completely against, not against, but it was completely what, like, it was just a difference of opinion, of belief, of everything. And I feel like if you can't agree on race and religion and like those two things, like, you can like, I can't be with someone who disagrees with my race and disagrees with my religion. So he was very open about the fact that he is atheist and that he did not believe in an afterlife. He did not believe in God. He did not believe in any of it. And I was shook. I was like, what is this man saying? And just the way he was discussing it as if it was a topic of like debate. Like, you could debate religion, and I'm just like, I'm not doing it. So he was having this kind of conversation about the afterlife and everything, and I was just like, I cannot do it because you do not believe in God, and it doesn't. Okay, hold on, let me phrase this. So you can definitely have a difference of opinion, difference of religion, difference of whatever, that's all fine and dandy, but like, for me, there's just certain, I guess, deal breakers. Like, you don't have to be the same religion as me because, you know, that to me doesn't really matter, but you do have to believe in something. You have to have some sort of belief system that aligns with mine, you know what I mean? So that really deteriorated me from the date, and I was just really turned off. So the fact that his parents were racist and that he was very open about it, and then the fact that he was atheist and he was just very open about it, and he was really trying to argue and debate his point, and I just felt like it wasn't something that you could argue and debate. And so the whole date made me really uncomfortable. But later that night, like I said, it was funk night or whatever, so, you know, that was kind of where everyone would go on, you know, that certain day. And so basically, I knew no matter what, I would be seeing him later on at the bar because I was going to the bar and I knew he was going to the bar. So let's fast forward. I eventually get out of this long date. This date was so long, like, literally, like, I felt like I was there like midday around like 2 or something, and I didn't leave until it was like maybe like 7 or 8, because like, I remember going home, chilling out for a little bit, and then getting ready to go to the bars. Like, It was that fast. So yeah, y'all, it was a rough date. So let me get into the last part of the date and just the complete immaturity of this man. Tonight with some of my friends, and keep in mind that I met all of his friends earlier that day. So I see him there with all of his group of friends and everything. And he doesn't approach me, which was weird. Like, I'm like, why? Like, we just went on this long date. You don't approach me. You don't say anything. But instead, his friend comes up to me and is all like, oh, so-and-so wants to buy you a drink. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, if he wants to buy me a drink, he can come and tell me that, you know? So I thought it was just really immature for him to be like, oh, like, he wants to buy you a drink. Like, if you want to buy me a drink, just buy me the drink. Don't tell me you're buying the drink. Just buy it for me, or just come and talk to me. So the whole situation was just really strange. Like, it was just a really weird situation. So basically, the whole night that kept happening, like, he kept being like, oh, or his friends kept coming up to me being like, oh, he wants to talk to you, he wants to do this, he wants to do that. And I'm like, okay, well, just talk to me. So I started getting really annoyed and fed up with the situation, because I was like, how, like, immature do you have to be? Like, we're adults here. Like, you don't have to, like, play these games. And so I didn't really want to talk to him anyways, because of the whole racist, atheist, all of that. Like, I was like, I'm not that open-minded. So yeah, I was like, this is so weird. So he kept playing that the whole night, like, trying to play these games, and I was just like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand the games you're playing. I don't. So that happened, and then, like, one of my guy friends I was hanging out with that night, and we were, like, just drinking and having a good time, and, like, I could just, like, feel him and physically see him watching me the whole night, and it was just so weird, because I'm like, he wouldn't approach me, but he was just, like, eyeing me the whole night. He was just, like, watching me, and it was just so weird. And I'm like, you're not gonna come up and talk to me, like, you're just gonna be there and be hella weird. Like, I don't understand. So that basically is how that went. It was the worst day ever, because he was, I don't know if he necessarily himself was racist, but I feel like to tell me that his family was racist was enough for me not to want to talk to him. And then for him to also then say that he was atheist was enough for me to not want to talk to him ever again. I was like, I'm not messing with you, boo-boo. I'm just not. But yeah, so I mean, that was one of the worst dates ever, and it happened at Davis. And yeah, I mean, it was really rough dating there, because a lot of the people either weren't into black girls, and if they were into black girls, they would fetishize and still have all these microaggressions. So it was really difficult. So I'm gonna finish up this look. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. Let me know if you guys want to hear more about my college experience. Okay, so I played around with the graphic liner a little bit. Yeah, I feel like this wing came out good, this wing didn't. So, and I just threw some mascara. This is how this wing came out, but this wing came out real cute.